Hi all, Rex King here again. I wanted to go over an image that would help us to appreciate what we really are physically in this physical world that we live in. And what I did is I named this, the physical organic body is a living water balloon. And I specify a dirty water balloon, and you'll see why as we get into it. If you think about it, that's what we really are. I've got an image here that basically explains what I'm saying. Let's imagine this is a balloon, but this is a balloon with an in and an out from the viewpoint that water flows into this balloon, or air flows into this balloon, and then if the balloon is imagined to be our physical body, so spirit or life comes into our body, water, air, and gives it life, okay? And we expend that life, we use it, so there's basically a flow of life in time, the use of this physical body that we have. And balloons wear out over time, as we know. And so over the years, our balloon expands and contracts, And what's happening is we eat, basically, food, water, air, over the rate of time. And of course, we store that food, water, air in our body, depending on who we are. Some people are bigger, smaller, different in size and mass and, food eating habits and so forth. But right over time. And then, of course, there's an energy out where a person lives their life. In other words, this is just the physical process of keeping our body alive. Food, water, air, the cycle of life from day to day, week to week, providing for our physical balloon, bodies. Of course, this could be an animal too. And that's the point, is that what we are, the physical organic body, is a living water balloon, whether you be a human or a horse or a cow or a dog or a cat. This is reality. We have energy coming in continuously at different rates. The food and water goes in at different rates at different times, and air is continuous. Every few seconds we're breathing. We're constantly breathing in and out. And so this balloon expands and contracts with our life, and then eventually what happens is the balloon bursts, and then our bodies go on. And so this is the physical, the experience of physical life. What's missing is the question. Was I just described what we are in reality physically? That's it. This is it. We're a balloon. We're physically a water balloon or an air water balloon. Do you realize that we're made something like, I think they say somewhere between 70-80% water. Okay, so basically we're dirty water. It's mostly water, but we've got some dirt mixed in, the food part. But in reality, we're 70% water. Okay, do you realize that water is two invisible gases? It's hydrogen and oxygen together making a physical substance. And even water goes from an invisible state right before our eyes when it becomes steam when we see it warm up. So can we appreciate how transient our physical bodies are? They're nothing more than a physical balloon. Okay, so the question is what's in the balloon? The balloon takes a shape. You've seen balloons, you've seen animal balloons and balloons of all sorts of caricatures. Okay. And so what sort of a balloon are we? Are we a human balloon? Are we an animal balloon or whatever? And the reason why I ask that is, what's the point? What's the point of our life? The physical organic body is a living water balloon. That's what it is. It's nothing more than that. It's a physical water balloon, and it has the capabilities of being moved around and moved about where we can do functioning stuff with it. We can live our lives. And that's what... So basically we have life in, we have life out. During the time the life is in us, we have control over it. We have our free will, okay? We transition from whatever we get, and we transition it to something else, and then that's what we give out by our actions and so forth and so on. So the question is life in equal to life out? Well, of course it's not. You know, if we consider life in the day we were born to the day we would die, you know, the whole process, you know, was it worth it? You know, was it worth the ticket? You know, is it the same? Well, you know, looking at it from a Bible viewpoint, the Bible says the day of one's death is better than the day of one's birth. And so they're not equal. I mean, and the reason why is because during one's life has had life experiences and so forth, things going on in their lives, had children, you know, the process of life, and then it goes out. And again, this could be any animal, any creature, okay? And it could even be plants, any organic plant that has a body that goes through a life cycle. And technically everything does. I mean, even the planet Earth is eventually going to, you know, become something else, you know, over, you know, eventually in time. And that's why it's so important to appreciate that our bodies, our physical bodies, aren't anything special. You know, it's just another part of the physical world. We are a physical part of the world. Our bodies is a physical part of the world, just like if you see a dog, the dog is in this physical world, just like your physical body in this world, no different. And so your body is going to physically go through a life cycle just like a dog at its rate, just like a dog goes through. Now the question is, what is the proper life cycle of a human? Okay. Now with the correct growth and maturity, and depending, you know, given the truth of the statement, you reap what you sow, you know, this process can be a lot different for different people. You know, some people die young because they have they can't properly process the food and water or whatever. Something goes haywire here, and so their life, you know, the balloon bursts early. You know, balloons wear out. You know, some people live a life to where their balloon lasts a lot longer than others. Now, what is the possible potential full length lifetime of one of our water balloons? Who knows? But right now we know what it is. And so the question is, what's missing here? What's missing? You know, what's the point? You know, what are we? If it's humans we're talking about, you know, so we're talking about horses, we could put, you know, the horse, the physical experience of a horse down here completely. We could detail it, and then what would be the point of the horse? You know, what I'm trying to do is recognize the fact that our physical bodies this is it. But I'm talking to you and I'm using a physical body, but what's talking to you? Is it my physical body talking to you? I mean, is it the food that I ate, the water that I drank, and the air that I breathe? Is that what's causing me to talk right now? Is that what's giving me the intelligence? So basically, food, water, and air creates intelligence. Because, you know, if we already said that life in and life out is different, and the only thing that's happening here is food, water, and air, and experiences. But what's experiencing the experiences? Isn't this just an automatic system? You know, I mean, I think of a lizard. We got a lot of lizards around here, little lizards. And, I mean, look, they're responsive. I mean, they'll, when it rains, I've got a back porch. When it rains, the water comes, the ground gets good and saturated. And any bugs that happen to be in the grass there, they come running up on the porch. Well, I've got lizards that'll sit back and wait for those bugs to get up on the porch. And as soon as they get on the porch, they shoot straight for them and swallow them whole. It's amazing. These little creatures just know what to do. And the point is that, yeah, we've got natural responses that keeps our physical body going. We don't think about the fact that we need to eat and stuff like it just happens. And of course, then we respond and take care of ourselves. You know, in other words, what's missing? Well, consciousness is obviously missing, as we're talking about. So there's primitive consciousness. You know, animals and humans all have primitive consciousness that takes care of our physical body. We need to take care of our physical body. We've got a primitive consciousness that says, hey, look, if we don't plan it, whatever, and we do that, okay? But is that it? You know, is that it? We're just a human water balloon and that's it. So, oh no, we've got a soul, we've got spirit and all that kind of stuff, okay? But then, if that's true, and all of what I've said right here is true, it doesn't matter where you're at or who you are, we're all the same. We're all the same. This is the process. You know, we want to take care of, the conscious process of taking care of ourselves is definitely here, okay? We know that, because without that, we wouldn't, you know, physically survive, okay? So we've got the physical survival part down. You know, worldwide, people tend to survive, okay? That's why they're still here, okay? So the point I'm getting at is this, is everything that we've described so far, the physical organic body is a water balloon, okay? And our physical existence is the same everywhere for everyone, whether even we're an animal or because if we're an animal, we know we have enough consciousness to get out there and get some food, okay? And as humans, we do that, okay? But what makes us different from animals? You know, what makes us, you know, what puts us in a category that's different than being an animal? That's all. You know, what is it that's so special, okay? Because everything else is pretty much the same. And so any human anywhere on earth, 90% of their life is pretty much the same, okay, in a physical way, okay? So why people are so upset with one another for whatever reason, because of, you know, some appearance that might be quite, you know, a little different. You know, some people eat with their right hand and some people eat with their left, okay? So what? You know, that's their life. But, why would we think for a second that you know, that our religion or some special teaching that we have that's basically just part of this process? You know, we happen to be born in Brooklyn, New York, back in the 1890s, and you began to associate with Russell and you learned some stuff, and because of that, you spent your life focused on that and you spend your life doing that. Or if you were born in India and you met the Dalai Lama or somebody like that, and you learned how to be a good person through him, and you spent your life through him. I mean, what's the difference? Or right now, today, you know, it's about what it's about. I mean, when Jesus said it, you know, it's about being a good person. You know, what's missing in here? You know, what gives this purpose? You know, it's about being a good person. So, anyway, I wanted to go through this just to help a person to recognize how similar everybody really are and how mundane we all really are from a physical viewpoint. The only real difference is what's going on in our head, in our consciousness. You know, that's it. The physical experience of life, you know, and so the intent is that if we're the humans, you know, we're the ones that can sit down and figure this stuff out. You know, the animals aren't doing this. And if we're doing this, then why don't we have things in balance? When we know all the rules, we know what it takes to the life cycle. Whether this is the life cycle of one individual or a nation or a community or a world, it's all basically the same. Life in, life out, collectively. You know, what's really the little bit that's different that we have to work out? It really shouldn't be that complicated. You know, just make sure everybody, you know, can keep their balloon working to the best efficiency possible, so that, you know, so that they can have experiences in life that, you know, makes the world a nice place. When you look at it like this, you hopefully can appreciate that mankind is but an organism, and it's part of a bigger organism, and the organism is the all, the God of all things, the creator of the reality that we exist in, and we're part of it. We're in the, and if you want to call it a creature, the all a creature, then we're in that creature, and if we're living in that creature and existing, then I guess we're in the womb of God, and that's what our reality is, the womb of God. So this balloon that we call our body, it is existing in a physical world, You know, just like the embryo in the womb of a animal, of a, you know, or inside of an egg or whatever. It's being provided with all the provisions around it so that it can have a functioning life in that body. And that's what we're doing. We're a physical water balloon in a physical world that's been provided whatever it takes to get this water balloon to have a physical life that's worth having, so they can get experiences and so forth, because the overall consciousness is desiring to grow and to develop and to have children, to reproduce, because of the life process that it wants to have. I mean, this is a life process, and it's conscious, and that consciousness is what we're talking about, and we have to develop our consciousness. I'm going to just say one more thing about this, and then I want to stop it, and this is it, is that if a person stayed locked in a closet for their lifetime, would life in be equal to life out? Pretty close. If a person stayed locked in a closet for all their life, in other words, their mind was never able to develop in any way, shape, or form, kept in the dark. And so the path that we take in life is extremely important. And the beliefs that we have is extremely important, because what we're showing is the reap what you sow process. Life in, your experiences, what you believe, what you come to know, what you come to understand, the amount of effort that you put into making sure it's accurate and you love it and it's what you want. And then life out, you reap what you sow. And so whatever this future of this world is going to be, you know, I recommend that you really give it some thought as to what you really think needs to happen to fix the world. And if we all reap what we sow, and we're all making an effort to do the right thing, then why can't that work? If everybody is putting a life into this balloon that says we're going to be a successful society, and that's what it's transitioning to from what it is now to the life out, you know, then that's what's going to happen. But it starts with each one of us as individuals. So the question is, in our life, what are we promoting? Are we promoting hatred, or are we promoting something else? And if it's hatred and something like that, then we've got a problem. You know, we need to stop. You know, are we promoting love? Are we promoting good? And if someone does something that we feel like was inappropriate, unhelpful for them or others, to treat that person badly because of that and not try and help them to understand the immaturity of their way is quite immature. So, you know, they were saying 2 wrongs don't make a right. Yeah, somebody does something wrong, but it's 9 times out of 10, it's immaturity. They didn't know better, because most people just want to do the right thing. But that 1% that it's not is probably something that they've been traumatized in some way and they need to overcome, you know, and they just, you know, took a bad path and they need to be assisted to help, not to be traumatized, shunned, ridiculed, embarrassed, and then often driven to suicide because they don't know how to function in a world when they don't realize that, because they don't realize they haven't been taught to function in the world at all. They've been taught to function in a fantasy land, because this part right here was never filled in properly. You know, what's it really like? What's it all about? They weren't taught that, you know, you love your neighbor as yourself all the time. There's no exceptions. You know, even if somebody else says, hey, look, it's okay to hate somebody because they did this and that, and you shouldn't like them because of that. We're all going to not like this person on purpose because we're going to force them to be what we want them to be. You know, it's just not helpful. Anyway, hopefully this has been an interesting mind walk. looking at this concept of what the physical body is and what's really important and what's not important, and hopefully we can all learn to develop our consciousness, to recognize that we're all here to help each other to grow, to be the best we can be. We're all each other's Christ. We're all each other's best if that's what we want. Peace and security is it's in our hearts first. It's in our minds, and then it becomes in our physical world. Whatever comes in, if we say it's going to be peace and security, then that's what's going to go out, because the missing part is really what's controlling this. This isn't just some physical process we don't have control over. What's missing? Self-control, free will. What do you want? What's best? What's logical? Are you committed to something that is illogical? Did you make a promise in the past that is obvious is inappropriate? A man can divorce his wife, and a wife can divorce her husband if they're inappropriate. But can we divorce the organization that we were born into, or raised into, or taught to believe in? Once we consciously go to the point of recognizing that it's unhelpful, that it's not helping me to change my life in to my life out that I want to accomplish and become the person I want to be. Are we just a living water balloon and that's it? Or are we actually becoming something more as an individual? The day of one's death is greater than the day of one's birth. But it's really a function of what one's done with one's life and how truthful and accurate it is, and not living in the past, living in a dream. Look, if you want to be in paradise, what you have to do is earn it and work for it and become consciously aware of it, and not let yourself be duped into thinking that this system is broken. It's not. This is the system. This is how our physical world works. What you put in is what you get out. What you put in, same up here. Same up here. Look, thank you very much for this listening and watching. I'm just trying to get you to expand your thinking, to meditate, to think about things, and I don't want to be on this anymore. So hopefully you're enjoying the videos, and hope to see you in them also. Thank you.